now we are talking about none other than Twisha Sharma's case. Now, this is absolutely not only a shocking case, but also a very, very sad one. So let me just take you through what the latest developments are. Now, apparently today, the Supreme Court of India officially backed the Madhya Pradesh government's decision to hand over the investigation of Twisha Sharma's death to the Central Bureau of Investigation (CBI). The state government had previously issued a formal notification consenting to this transfer to ensure a transparent probe. The second post-mortem, as requested by the parents, was also done. Following the family's concerns regarding discrepancies in the initial autopsy, including issues related to height measurements and the absence of ligature material. Now, the MP High Court permitted a second post-mortem. So, this was conducted by a team of doctors from AIIMS, Delhi, in Bhopal. The body has since been cremated. She held who was Trisha? She held the title of Miss Pune, a very beautiful lady, and had a professional experience in modeling and acting. However, she had transitioned into a corporate role and completed an MBA after deciding that acting was not the path she wished to pursue long term. So at this time, when she got married, one thing I must tell you is that I found the images very, very, very sad, because here is this young girl dancing, at her wedding, wearing a beautiful red dress, and everybody, her family is, joining her, and everybody is so happy to see this young girl happy. And maybe, nobody knew that she was going to, be dead in a short time. You should listen to what Kiran Bedi said regarding the case, says Leena. CM Vijay should give a general interview with national news media any chance, says SSB. Now, Jagan family, Anil Reddy, Martin Lottery family, Johns, all missionaries dominating TN government. Missionaries, partly successful, TN voters must keep a watch on missionary activity in TN. Very, very important. A very good point, by Sundaram. Now, okay, now moving on to the Trisha case. Now, the focus of the the investigation was because of the kind of death she got when she was at her in-laws' place in Bhopal, and the allegations of dowry harassment and domestic abuse brought by her family rather than her previous career. Now, the case we are referring to is this girl was only 33 years old, and so one feels almost, who are these people who have done it to her? Because, see, we've all seen her going up, in the CCTV footage. You've seen that, this girl was going upstairs, and, it was said that she usually goes, the mother-in-law was giving interviews here and there, and they said that she had gone up to, to speak on the phone. Now, some of the WhatsApp conversation, now this is the mother, the very learned judge, who is retired, and that is the son who was absconding. Okay, so so this girl had gone to the terrace to speak in private to someone, and from the WhatsApp conversations, you can make out that she was most probably speaking to her friend, and she was saying that she had such a feeling that she was being stifled; she could not speak. And then in the conversation, she also said that she had lost her job, and her mother-in-law was taunting her to get another job. In India, it's not so easy to get jobs, but this girl was trying. So there seems to be, from her conversations, you can make out that the mother-in-law was a very, very dominating person. So let me move on to, yes. So now the second post-mortem has been done. Now, the primary accused, which is, we are talking about Samarth Singh, the husband, has been taken into police custody after absconding for a long time. He was initially absconding, and then he surrendered at the Jabalpur district on Friday, May 22nd, and was subsequently moved to Bhopal for further legal proceedings. Now, the Bar Council of India has also suspended his, legal practice. The case initially involved allegations of dowry harassment and abetment to suicide, naming Savar Singh and his mother Giribala Singh, a retired district judge. The family had also raised serious questions regarding potential destruction of evidence. Now, you could just looking at Twisha's parents, you can make out the kind of agony they have been undergoing. Now they had made, they had they wanted the status of the CCTV footage and the records of the numerous phone calls made by the mother-in-law in the immediate aftermath of the incident. Now the Supreme Court, in its hearing on May 25th, emphasized the need for an impartial investigation and urged the media to exercise restraint, specifically requesting that the potential witnesses and the accused avoid giving public statements. Because you remember, this mother-in-law was just going to each and every channel and saying that she was a drug addict and she was used to drugs. So she was also tarnishing her reputation. Now the investigation has moved on to CBI. Now, so this is something that is very, very disturbing, and the public discourse and investigative scrutiny surrounds Giribala Singh, a retired district judge, and the mother-in-law, who has been who have been intense, driven by several factors that have led to people are now questioning her conduct and role in the events leading to the death, because they very clearly you can see in the CCTV footage that they are bringing her body down. What happens when you just go to the terrace and suddenly this girl is brought back as a dead body? So what happened? And there were three men who were holding. One was the husband, one could have been the father, and one could have been the servant. Now, Giripala Singh has been highly active in media, frequently giving interviews where she has made serious allegations about the girl's character. So this is the retired judge, Giripala Singh. Now, this lady has been giving interviews left and right, and making serious allegations about her. She has claimed that Twisha struggled with substance abuse, had mental health issues, and acted impulsively. These public characterizations have been vehemently rejected by Twisha's parents, who have accused the retired judge of maligning the deceased to deflect responsibility. Now, the Solicitor General of India, representing the state, informed the Supreme Court that Giripala Singh has been uncooperative with investigations. And please bear in mind, when the death happened, she made 100 calls to different people to safeguard their position, look like. Now, despite multiple notices, including a final one served via WhatsApp and post, she reportedly did not make herself available to record her statement as required by the investigation. So, this woman has been, if the son has been absconding, she has also, been unavailable, So, she was granted anticipatory bail by a sessions court shortly after the incident, a decision that was strongly challenged by the MP High Court, by both the state government and the victim's parents, family. The Solicitor General described the granting of this bail as having been done in a very hurried manner, without adequate consideration of the gravity of the allegations, specifically noting that her position as a former judicial officer was a factor requiring closer scrutiny. Now, the legal team representing Twisha's family had raised formal allegations of evidence tampering. So, this is very important. Evidence tampering, specifically regarding the CCTV footage and DVR records at the matrimonial home. They argued that these discrepancies were intentional, intended to obfuscate the truth of what transpired on the day of the death. Because of her status as the chairperson of a district consumer commission and a former judicial officer, there have been calls for her to be held to higher standards of accountability. The state government has initiated inquiries to determine if she can continue in her official post while under such serious investigation. Now, the court has taken this very seriously, and because of the allegations of institutional bias and procedural irregularities, particularly given that the accused are a lawyer and a former judge. Now, the court has urged all parties to stop making public statements in the media and instead allow the CBI, which is now taking over the probe, to conduct a neutral and thorough investigation. Now, the CBI will now be tasked with verifying these conflicting narratives, examining the digital evidence and determining whether there was any orchestration or cover up involving the mother in law and her son. Also, please note that in the CCTV footage, you can see how calm and cool the mother in law was when the body was brought down. If she was in shock, then it would have shown. There was no scream, nothing. So, which means everything seemed to be, allegedly planned. And these are the points that, are happening now. Now, the Madhya Pradesh High Court has issued a notice on these petitions and is actively renewing the challenges of her pre-arrest. Now, also another piece of news is that there was another case where another girl has been harassed, by a husband who has been beating her openly, and that's also come up. So now I think we need to have stricter laws. So let me just take a few comments from Lena. Her husband said she wanted a career, no harm in this, but family was against her career. What is the use if Annamalai put a new party for himself? And when she said, take me back, then why did her parents? Yeah, see, this is what I don't understand. The moment you sense that your daughter's in problem, you should just take the next car, go and bring her, isn't it? Or the next flight, which is something that they did not do. So that makes me very, very sad, especially because this daughter, they had only, I think, two children, one a son and a daughter. So this is something that they should have, taken care of, because, knowing that the girl was in serious problem, she kept saying that she is being stifled. So this is something that leaves a very, very bad taste. And I hope if this judge, because there is a lot of allegations about judges now coming out, corruption, so many cases. I hope the judiciary will also be cleaned up in this process. With this, we end the session. We'll see you tomorrow with a lot more news. Good night. Jai Hind.